Following on our thematic exploration of art since 1980, we're going to look at art of gender and sexuality. And these issues have become hot button, especially over the last 5 or more years, really since 2010 or so. And what we're looking at is a number of different issues. As we move into 2020, we see a lot more art that's dealing with issues of gender, issues of sexuality. These are different things. Biological gender or biological sexuality, of course, is not the same thing as gender and gender expression. This is not the place where I'm going to get into it, but it's something to understand. And there are two sides of this that we're going to be focusing on here. One is feminism. Now, feminist art, of course, we've explored back in the 1960s, 1970s, but we're exploring again here because it doesn't go away. In fact, arguably, what we see in the 1960s and 70s is second wave feminism, and we're moving into third wave feminism as we move into the new 21st century. So we're seeing some of those ideas developing. We're seeing some of that evolution. We're also going to see the rise of openly homosexual art and art dealing with sexual identity. This is something where the doors have been opened by feminist art and by conceptual art to explore ideas that are oftentimes controversial. Until very, very recently, the very existence of homosexuality was controversial. It was, of course, a diagnosis in the DSM. And sexual identity was something that people really didn't discuss. We just sort of assumed everyone had a single sexual identity and that it matched sort of the general societal view of how these things work. In fact, it's much more nuanced, much more difficult to parse out, and it's much more of a spectrum. And these ideas are going to come out in contemporary art. And yes, they're still going to be very, very controversial when they do.